Well, welcome. My name is Sarah Baker, and I'm the Director of Training and Education for Elevation Corporate Health. I'm so excited there is so many of you here today. I really appreciate you giving up 30 minutes of your day. This is the first of our 8-week series, our Elevate Mindfully. Each week there is a different topic. So we hope you'll join us for all of these and learn a little something. So what we are going to go over today, just a quick overview, why movement is important. I'm sure most of you know why movement is important, but I'm going to give you some fun statistics and facts as well. We're going to talk a little bit how to add movement into your day, some cues and kind of some little tips and tricks that you might be able to incorporate. And then we're actually going to get up and move. We are going to do some desk exercises, and hopefully you'll join me and I'll be able to demonstrate some of those for you. And then we are going to go through some desk stretches, which we all know that we need. All right, why we should move. So just some basic facts. We were meant to move, and back in the ye olden days, we actually moved most of the day, and now we actually sit most of the day. So movement keeps our blood and our lymph flowing. It delivers oxygen and nutrients to our cells. So Americans 12 and up spend most of their time, which is about 8 to 10 hours a day, sitting and doing things that require little energy. Sedentary behavior has been linked to shorter lifespan and a wide range of medical problems. So even just breaking up your day with these short bouts of movement is actually associated with a smaller waist circumference and other indicators of good health. A study showed that even low levels of physical activity, so maybe just 10 minutes a day of walking, can actually gain you about 2 years of life expectancy. So that's pretty big. Another thing with sitting all day is low back pain is actually one of the #1 reasons that people go to the doctor. And guess what? One of the #1 reasons people have low back pain for is from sitting. So actually sitting all day actually inactivates our glutes, and it actually shortens our hip flexors, and that's actually what's creating a lot of our low back pain. So just moving throughout the day can really change that. All right, just some more fun facts for you. So movement throughout the day can lead to a happier and more productive work environment. There's a lot of studies that have showed that. It can increase energy levels. They actually did a study on drinking an energy drink and going on a walk, and the walk actually can have more of an impact. A study from the University of Bristol showed employee improvements in mood and performance on days that people exercise, and this is regardless of the exercise workload intensity. So just simply walking or doing some movements can really make a big difference. They've been shown a lower incident of depression and burnout in those with higher levels of physical activity as well. Mental ability increases for those who exercise, and then walking can have a large effect on creativity. If you're ever just kind of drawing a blank or just kind of stuck in a rut, what maybe you'd call writer's block, going on a walk can really help that and help you be more productive in creativity. I read about another study that said before a big presentation, basically going on a walk can help you get better prepared and poised for it. So maybe if you have a big presentation, quick walk around the block can help you. Ideally, movement in the fresh air, that is going to be your #1 that you would want to try, just because obviously the fresh air. Vitamin D is huge. And then the effect of nature can have on our well-being. They're showing a lot of studies come out about that as well. So ideally walking outside. Luckily in Colorado, we have sun most days. That's where I am. So even though it's chilly, you can bundle up and get outside. All right, moved often. So actually now that we're working at home, we're actually moving less. So we're no longer maybe walking down the hall to our coworker's cubicle. We don't have to walk as far to the bathroom. You might not go down to the cafeteria or walk out to your car to grab something. So we're actually sitting a lot more now that we're working at home. So really think about how you can embed movement into routine operations of your day. And these might sound silly, but I promise you, these actually add up. I've worked at home for a number of years, and I've kind of figured out what works for me and what I do. So walking up and down the stairs. So I mean, literally just going, sometimes I go to the bathroom upstairs because it forces me to walk a little further, going to the furthest bathroom. Yesterday, I just was kind of just drawing a blank and just kind of fuzzy brained. I walked to my mailbox, took a quick walk around my block. The dogs are loving it now that we're home more. So walk your dog a couple times a day, 2 10-minute walks a day. While lunch is heating up or cooking, walk around the house, perform a quick set of exercise stretches. Another big thing about these is that they give us a digital break. So obviously we know we're in front of our screens a lot, and taking regular time away from the screens can boost mental and emotional health and actually improve sleep and fend off physical side effects of that like digital immersion all the time, which would include like dry eyes and, you know, the way we sit. I know we all don't sit up like this at our desk all the time. So just taking these breaks is actually good, you know, physically as well, from being on the screen. The one thing I can't emphasize more is that all movement counts, okay? You do not have to go for a 30-minute super hard run. You don't have to do 60 minutes on your treadmill. All movement counts, and it's important to just keep moving constantly. All right, so for behavior change, we often need a type of cue to actually trigger us to make that change, okay? So here's just some different tips, and then I do want to ask if anyone else has any kind of cues that they found is helpful. Set an alarm on your phone or even your calendar, you know, on your Google Calendar, you could have a reminder go off every hour. Set up an alarm on your phone to get up every hour for some type of movement. So you hear that ding. If you have any type of watch or wearable, you could do that as well. Once you hear that ding, get up, move around. Consider a standing desk converter, and I don't know if you guys are able to see, but I have a standing desk converter, so this just kind of pops up. I'll try to show you. So I have you can kind of see it. So I have a converter that goes up and down, so I can come all the way up or come all the way down. It was pretty inexpensive. You don't necessarily want to be standing all day, every day as well. You don't want to sit all day, but you don't want to stand. So an inexpensive standing desk converter kind of gives you that option. When you need to stand up and stretch a little bit, you can raise it and you can lower it. And that's been a big change in how tight I feel at the end of the day and how my low back feels at the end of the day. So that was a big change for me that I got last year. That really helped. Get up and move after finishing a task. So let's say, you know, you're working on a certain type of report, or you give yourself an hour to check emails. After that's done, get up and move, walk around, go refill your water bottle, whatever you need. I remember this funny professor of exercise science that I listened to, and his cue was that every time he stood up from his desk chair, he had to do 5 squats. Or you have to do 5 push-ups before you go to the bathroom. And there's a whole philosophy called tiny habits, where if you just start with these tiny little habits like that, so every time I stand up, I would have to do a few squats, and every time I do it, and he ended up doing like 100 push-ups in the day. But the point is, find a little cue, which would be standing out of your chair, and do a few squats or push-ups. Schedule a walking meeting anytime you do not need to be in front of your computer. I know a lot of times we do need to be in front of our computer, but if you can pull your notes up on your phone, stick your headphones in, and walk around your block, it can be really enjoyable. Anytime I have a meeting that's just kind of brainstorming, I try to go on a walk, and it actually really helps me feel kind of just have some clarity and get rid of that brain fog and be more productive. If you do kind of need to come back to your computer, I've done walking meetings in my house. So I'm walking around, come back, look at my notes, walk back. And as I said, maybe it seems kind of silly, but these really can help. Set a step goal for each workday and use a pedometer and wearable to track it. So I personally try to hit 10,000 steps a day. I know that's a number that's ingrained in all of our heads for so many years. That's actually not as magical as they think it is. Anything, you know, around 8,000 is great. Really, it's more movement than you're used to. So if you're used to walking 5,000 steps a day, maybe just shoot for 6,500 a day or 7,000 a day. Don't be obsessed with that 10,000. Just try to hit, you know, a goal that you feel at the end of the day, you feel good. You know, you don't feel as tight. You're not having as much pain, whatever that number is for you. And then maybe just try to up it the next week. So I try to hit 10,000 5 days a week. And I do look at my watch pretty often because I can actually feel the days I'm not moving. If I had a day where I only hit 4,000 or something like that, then the next day I'm really making more of an effort to get out and move more. This is independent of exercise for the most part. So if you exercise on your own, you still want to try to get those steps in. What they've actually found is people who go and work out, like first thing in the morning, let's say you get on your elliptical, you get on your treadmill, we almost use that as an excuse to sit more. So obviously days that I've worked out, I tend to sit a little bit more. So think of your step goal independent of your structured exercise. There's tons of wearables out there to track it. There's tons of apps. You know, make it a competition with yourself, with others, with your family, with coworkers. But set that step goal, write it down on your calendar, and just kind of keep working towards that. And see how you feel at the end of the day. You know, do you have less low back pain? Do you feel less tight in the hips? It can make a big difference. Couple other tips, and then I just want to stop for a few minutes and ask if anyone has any other ideas. There is something called NEAT, and this is actually for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Okay, so this is energy that we expend from everything that we do that is not just kind of living, eating, sleeping, even exercising. And they've done a lot of research on this in recent years, and this actually can play a significant role in helping to maximize that total amount of calories that you're burned in a single day. So some ideas we already talked about: just stand more, okay? And I know everyone has heard, oh, park farther away and do this, but that stuff really does matter. Additional tasks around the house, obviously cleaning, laundry, anything like that. Playing with your kids. I have 2 little kids who exhaust me at all times, but just, you know, going outside and kicking the soccer ball or riding bikes around the neighborhood, that really counts as NEAT for me, because it's not, you know, my formal exercise. It's just additional calorie burn. Obviously, walking or cycling for transportation, and they've even shown that fidgeting can make a difference. So if you tend to move a lot, I'm a fidgeter. If you tend to move a lot and fidget a lot, they've shown that that adds up for the NEAT. So before we get into the exercises and the stretches, I just wanted to ask, and I know there's a lot of you on the call, does anyone have any other tips that they do throughout the day to kind of get their movement in, or to cue themselves to get that movement? Oh. You can either unpause or, lunch break walks. So someone suggested lunch break. So when you're going to take a break for lunch, going on a walk, that's a great idea. Anyone else have any triggers? Oh, someone says, I try to do a 5K every day with walking meetings. So a 5K is 3.1 miles. So that's excellent. And tries to do walking meetings. Excellent. Oh, here's the cue. Like I said, the squats. Someone says they stand up when the phone rings. So you can't just pick up your phone like this. You actually physically have to stand up. I love it. Elevation live classes in between meetings. Love that. Those are our live workout classes. Someone says Fitbit has a reminder that you can set to get up every hour. And that's kind of what they're showing, that they said about after an hour for your eyes to take a break, as well as your body. Love it. Okay. Someone schedules yoga every day. Squat for every text message and social media notification. Holy cow, I would be doing a lot of squats because I do text a lot. Oh my gosh, I love that one. I have a set of weights next to my desk so I can grab them throughout the day. I love it. I just really think we have to get out of the mindset of hardcore formal exercise all the time. We know it's not going to happen. So if you can just try to get this extra movement in the day, it can really make a difference. Oh my gosh, I love the squat for every text. I think I've gotten like 4 so far, so I owe you guys some squats. All right, well, because this is about movement, we are gonna move. So I'm hoping you can see me. I'm gonna move my camera a little bit. We are gonna do some exercises. I'm gonna cue you guys through them. Obviously, I can't tell if you're doing it, if your video's off, so I'm just gonna trust you that you are doing these. But I do wanna show you these exercises and make sure you guys feel confident in doing those and you're doing them right. So, all right, so desk exercises. So I'm going to move back a little bit and move my chair here so you can see. So, so squats, chair squats or a wall sit. So the best thing about having a chair here is that it actually puts you in perfect squat form. So ideally you want to pretend you're going to sit down, but you're actually not going to sit down. You're basically going to, I call it a butt kiss. You're going to just come down and touch your chair with your bum and then stand right back up. It doesn't have to be super deep. I'm just coming back and up, nice and slow, barely touching down and coming back up. So that just gets the blood flowing in my quads a little bit, opens up my chest a little bit. If chair squats are not available to you, hurts your knees, any low back issues, you can do this wall sit right here, which is the position. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it's the second picture. She's doing a wall sit. Put your legs at 90 degrees, making sure your knees are right in line with those toes, and put your back flat against the wall. So if you have any low back issues, that can feel great. You can put your hands down at your side. You don't have to hold them out in front of you. I would say about 30 seconds of that is great to get those quads fired up. So you just go into a wall sit, 30 seconds, stand up, 30 seconds, couple sets of those, and that's great for squats. Chair dip, so that is what this woman in the first picture is doing. So the biggest key here is you're gonna wanna make sure you have a steady chair. My chair does have wheels on it, but it's heavy duty, so I know it won't go anywhere. So I'm just gonna come down and do dips. So the key here is elbows are going straight back. Okay, you don't want your elbows out to the side. That puts too much pressure on your shoulders. Elbows go straight back. I'm gonna bring my legs out in front in that bent position, and I'm just gonna drop down and come up. I'm assuming you guys are all doing these, right? Okay, straight down and up. If you wanna make that more challenging, extend your legs further, okay? It just makes the lever a little bit longer, which would require more force. Okay, otherwise you can bring them in. So chair dips, hit the back of the triceps, a little shoulders and chest. My favorite one is these incline desk push-ups to get the blood flowing. So I think you guys can see here. So this is great. If push-ups on your toes are a little challenging for you, but knee push-ups are too hard, these are literally great to just come down and up, okay? So chest comes down towards the desk, inhale, exhale. If those are too challenging, you could do a push-up on a wall, same idea. If it's not challenging enough, you can just jump down on the floor and do your push-ups, okay? So like I said, these can be formal strength exercises for you, or it can literally be just, I'm gonna get up, I don't have time to exercise today, I'm gonna do 10 sets of each of these just to get some resistance training in and call it good. So they've shown studies, 10 minutes of resistance training can make a difference. One set of everything can make a difference. Like I said, all movement counts. All right, hip hinges. So if you're familiar with a deadlift, this is going to be the position for the deadlift. You're gonna come, I like my hands on my hips, or you can put them behind your ears. You're gonna bend forward from the hips, keeping your legs fairly straight. I'm thinking about really pushing my hips back and bringing my chest down, keeping a nice flat back. This feels so good in your posterior chain, which is the backside of your body, your hips, your glutes, just down and up. You could actually add some arms motions in here. This feels a little bit more like a stretch, but it really is an exercise for those glutes. Lunges, most of you guys know how to do those lunges. You can come forward, just down and up, okay, keeping that knee right in line with those toes, okay? If those aren't available to you, you can do stationary lunges, which would be 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and I'm just coming down, just as she is in that picture there. And then the last two, I'm not going to demonstrate just because be laying on the floor, but hip bridges. This is one of the best low back and glute exercises you can do. Just laying straight down on the floor, lifting your hips up, okay? Try not to hyperextend your back. You don't need your hips to go to the ceiling. You're just coming nice and level, as she is doing right here, okay? So lifting your hips up and then lowering them back down. If after the end of a long day, your hips are really tight, that is one of the best exercises. Or if you're having low back pain, that's an excellent exercise to do as well, okay? And then lastly, all of you guys should hopefully know what a plank, see she's doing her desk movements, she's working on her laptop, is just a plank, okay? So just holding that, shoulders right over those elbows. If you're on your hands, it would be right over your wrists, making sure your low back is not sinking. Just holding it all in, squeezing, but also breathing, and that fires up that core and chest as well. So those are 7 simple exercises. If you wanted to get a workout in, you could literally just keep repeating them. You could set a timer for 5 minutes and just do 5 of each. You could set a timer for 10 minutes, or you can just do 1 set, whatever feels good in your body, and that's a great way to get some strength training in. Questions on exercises? And Debbie, who has her weights next to her desk, you could grab your weights as well, too. You could do a desk exercise meeting, right? You guys are all doing your push-ups while you're in a meeting? Okay. Any questions or comments on that? Good, Jackie, I'm glad you liked them. Thank you. Okay, let's do some stretches, right? That's what we're all here for, is the good stuff. Easy desk stretches. Okay, so again, I'm gonna demonstrate and assume you guys are all doing these. one of the best ones is a chest opener. We sit all day like this. Like I said, I don't tend to pretend we're sitting up like this all day. So we tend to hunch over, and then sometimes we get in our car and do the same thing, and then we sit at the dinner table, and then we sit in front of the TV. So we get really tight in our chest. So the best one's a chest opener. I'm just gonna stand up for you guys. You're just gonna simply grab your arms behind, and then based on how it feels, keep those shoulders down and just lift your hands as high as you can, keeping your chest lifted, and just breathe and open up that chest. Doing that a few times a day can really help these tight pec muscles, okay? So big chest opener there. Obliques is just like she's doing in that first picture. She's grabbing one wrist here and she's going to one side. Ideally, you guys are doing these standing up, right? Because we want to stand up more and move and increase our meat. Good. And then other side, opens up those side bodies. We forget to stretch our wrists, and our wrists go through a lot of work, from typing, using the mouse, being kind of hunched over. Even workouts are hard on our wrists, right? From push-ups and whatnot. So making sure to stretch those wrists. She's doing it right here with both. I actually prefer to do one, so you can just open those up and really feels good. If you have any carpal tunnel issues, this is really good to open the forearm. If you want to make it a little more intense, you could put both down on your desk here and open up those wrists. Good. You guys doing all your stretches, right? Good. Okay. Hip flexor. So like I said, sitting makes us so tight in the hips. She's doing kind of a big one. If you need to use your desk, I'm gonna tilt you down a little bit. I'm in that lunge stance again, and then I'm gonna lean. You can see my hips a little bit. This leg is back. I'm going to lean into this front leg, but this leg is back, so I can feel, this is your hip flexor right here. So I can feel this stretch in my hip. This also feels really good on my rear calf as well. So I'm just kind of leaning into it. This is the picture here showing her hip flexor stretch. Okay, so that feels really, really nice from sitting all day. Okay, make sure you do both sides. You can feel that in your calf as well. Excellent, and we got a few more. When I'll open it up to questions. That's a fast half an hour. Hamstrings, same thing. Hamstrings are connected to your low back, right? So hamstrings go into your glutes, which are then connected. So if your hamstrings are tight, you could have some low back pain. So she's doing it on a log. I'm just gonna put my leg right up on my desk. So hamstring stretch, putting your leg, nice soft bend in your knees and just kind of leaning over. If that is not available to you, like there's no way you're getting leg that high, you could do it on like a lower shelf, or you can actually just put one foot in front and then have that front leg nice and straight and point your toe down, and then you can get a nice stretch in that hamstring right there. Okay, last two, quads, front side of our leg right here. She's doing it in that picture there. You're just pulling your ankle behind you and stretching out from that knee joint. In fact, gets your hip flexor a little bit, and your quad. Good, and just hold it there. Make sure you get both sides. Good. And then the last one, which is one of my absolute favorite, is a cat-cow. She's doing it on the ground, which I would recommend for a little range of motion. But if that's not available to you either, you can come on your desk, same kind of position as we had for our push-ups, and all you're doing is arching and rounding your back. So when we round, we're kind of breathing into our upper back and shoulder blades. Here, we're opening up our chest. And those are some main stretches you can do. Again, ideally, you'd want to be a tiny bit warm before you do your stretches. So maybe get up, do your quick walk around the house, and then do some stretches. You'll just get a little bit more out of it if you're warmed up. Also, it's better to prevent injuries. If you're really cold muscles, the last thing you want to do is really stretch them hard. So try to be a little bit warmed up before those stretches. Any questions on the exercise or the stretches? Someone says, can we get a copy of the exercise stretches, or will this presentation be saved? Yes, we are going to send out, I'll send out my PowerPoint to all of you. That's on the meeting here, and then you'll have a copy of those as well. And I'm also recording it too, so you can always go back to the recording if you want to listen. Okay. All right, well, a couple questions in open discussion, or what you want to call journal prompts, just to kind of think about. 3 simple things you can do daily to increase movement while working. So I want you to think of 3 simple things I'd love for you to share, but just think of something right now that you could do to increase movement while working. Me personally will be to set a timer, because I think sometimes I don't get up every hour. I just kind of get into my project. So that's me personally. And I also want to think, what is a reasonable step goal for you during the workday? So like I said, on average, I go about 8,000. So I'm trying to push to 10 on most days. And then what do you need to do to achieve it? Is put your tennis shoes by your office door so you see them as a reminder. Think of those cues. Behavior change is so much about trigger and cues. Think of what is going to cue you to make that change. Okay? Someone asked for good stretches for the neck. Yes, if there's any other body parts, because our necks get sore too. So best stretch for the neck would be just to take it to one side. You can feel all stretching here. If that's not enough for you, you can gently grab here and hold it. And then you want to go other side, simple like that. You want to avoid, like, remember back in the 80s when we were doing aerobics, we were like head rolling all the time. The cons really outweigh the pros on that one, so you don't really need to do head circles, but you can do all directions nice and slowly. So you could go here, and then you can go back and lift. So just kind of taking it to each direction one at a time. Good. The recording of this will also be on Elevation Station, where you guys, we have recorded classes as well. And then, like I said, I'll send out a little handout with tips and tricks, and then we'll be sending this presentation as well. Next week, we are going to have healthy foods and happy mind. So actually how foods can affect our mental health, which again, I'm a research person. There's a lot of new research coming out about anxiety and depression, and it's linked to food. So make sure you tune in for that one. Someone says, I need to drink more water, so I'll set a goal to walk to get water every hour to help with both. Yes, you know what I was thinking with one of those tips, Sue? Is instead of filling a huge water bottle, I was thinking of doing like a really small one, like my kid's cup or a little cup. And so that way, every time I'm out, I have to walk all the way to my kitchen and back. I actually thought of that because I tend to fill really big water bottles, like when I'm out going around. So I like that. So fill like a baby water cup so that every time you have to go. Any other tips, or what's going to be a simple thing that you're going to do to increase movement? Anyone? I'll just read from the chat box. Guys, I'm going to give you my email. Here is my email. So if you have any questions, you need a better explanation of how to do those exercises, you didn't really understand that, there's my direct email. So please feel free to reach out to me. Someone says they're going to incorporate movement during meetings. Yes. And stretch after each work task. I need to do that too. That'll help me keep actually better on task too, because I tend to have 3 or 4 tasks at one time so that I'm never ending them. So other good tip that I had heard, especially because we're working from home more, and sometimes it's blending in, right? Like the work-life balance is having a hard time. How do you signal the end of your day? It used to be, I got in my car and I drive home. Well, now what's the end of our day, right? We're always working or we're always on. Maybe put that movement in to signal the end of your day. So you shut down your computer. Now it's time to go on a walk. That is your commute, let's say, and that's the end of your day. And now it's time for your home life. So I loved that tip, is having an actual cue or an activity to do to end your work day. So I think that could be really happy as well. Set daily appointments for the rest of the month as a reminder. I love it. Squats after every meeting. You know what? You could also send meeting invites to your coworker that says like squats or walk. So I use a yoga ball instead of a chair. Sometimes I find myself just bouncing on it without realizing it. So sitting on the ball, yes, help engage the core muscles. Great. All right, well, if you have any other questions or last comments, I want to be respectful of your time. Thank you guys so much for joining. I loved having all of you on. And then we will send this out to you, and have a great day. Keep moving, and remember, all movement counts. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.